In the permanent collection, so in the galleries, the general galleries, what are the main sensory challenges that you experienced?
The first one would be information, how I read information. So the font size is not consistent. So it needs to be more consistent on the labels, but also on the information that we're reading from room to room that directs us as well, so that that's clear and consistent throughout the permanent collections, so that we can navigate the space in a better way. I know that you're going to hopefully bring in some sensory maps and things like that, so that'll be really helpful to get around. But also how we get information about the rules in here. What can we touch, what can't we touch, and what are the objects that we can lift up or whatever. Also about the reflective spaces. So there's somewhere on the front there's windows that reflect back on, which can be distracting.
Perfect. Piers, I'll ask you the same question. What are the main sensory challenges that you found in our permanent collection?
I get generally, well, I'm not like upset by what I go in there. I get generally the idea that there are no real directions of where to go. Like, it doesn't really tell you where to go. While that does give freedom, it also causes like people with routines, to be like kind of freaked out or be like upset or confused generally on where to go and what they should be doing. Generally, they have like a strict routine because like of their generally that's how their mental state work, they generally help them focus more. There's also the fact that like there are a lot of items on display. They're not exactly in order in any way. They're trying to lay out in displays, and sometimes they're hidden away from public view by accident because they're on lower down. There's also the fact of like the lighting, because it can range from natural to artificial, and that can affect the wind, the glass or mirrors you have and like display the items in any room. Because like the natural light, while it may give a more softer light, can also cause the room to be more darkened. And like then you go into a more enclosed room and that suddenly get hit by bright light, but it can also cause not exactly reflections on the light with it useful, but it can cause people to be like confused by it, by how changed it can suddenly be, no warning or even like a way to ease you into it, So generally, like if you do, then like generally if you do have to change one, then generally either try to put up warnings or cover all the windows, and then like put in like more artificial light and that are closer up to like the glass, so that there are no reflections of like people or like any items around it, And I get generally also the font may be too small to read, it's too long in ways, and not simplify in like simple words, or don't give like a very overview of like the item, like where it's from or like how old it may be. Like it doesn't give like a very detailed and a very simplified overview of it. It wouldn't be good for two types of people who want more detail and people who want a simplified overview, or even both,
Yeah. Perfect, that's great. Is there anything else, Eleanor?
Yeah, I forgot about the jewellery room. That when we went in the day, if it's a warm day out, it can be very stuffy because there is no windows in there. And it's quite an enclosed space, which can feel quite claustrophobic. A lot of neurodivergent people would have sensory issues, and that is not just about lighting, it's about all of the senses. So, if it's too warm in there, it can feel, I want to get out of that room very fast and I won't spend as much time in it. Also, as an addition to what Piers is saying, you can change your focus. It can affect your focus. So, and anybody who's kind of photosensitive at all, it can bring on a migraine or any of those kind of issues, which can happen to anybody who's kind of photosensitive.
The shadowing in the collection was very strong and prevalent, and I found that the air conditioning unit, the sounds, it really stood out for me. The humming sound really stood out for me.